You have to get the sales team, you have to get marketing, you have to get product management, everybody moving in the same direction. If you have one person going rogue, just like in a team sport, that one person going rogue kind of can ruin it for the rest of us.
Yeah,
So if
absolutely.
everyone going in the same direction, it absolutely pays off.
What's up, everyone? It's Eric Vessels with Taktiful. Welcome back to another episode of Taktiful Tuesdays. I believe I do know the count. I believe it is 44. So we're numerically lucky, I think, because of those match. Taktiful Tuesdays is the podcast where we dig into the people behind the prints, the packaging, the big ideas that bring design and production to life. Today's guest is Bryan Topham, a marketing leader whose career has spanned wide format print, label, and packaging markets, product visibility, and brand communication. Currently on the Konica Minolta team, from managing packaging solutions to driving print innovation, he's seen how surface, format, and finish come together to tell a story. Beyond the work sphere, he's also, I believe, a former basketball player, maybe college. We'll talk about it. He's really tall, so that's why we all look up to him. And he's also a dedicated fan of English Premier League. We'll get into that a little bit towards the end. So whether you're immersed in print, exploring packaging workflows, or simply just curious about how maybe sport shapes mindsets and marketing, you're in the right seat today. Bryan, thanks for being on the show, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man. We've known each other for quite a while.
Yeah.
But we always kind of begin with this question, which is, walk us through kind of your journey into the world of print. I know you've got a lot of different experience in the marketing
Yep.
world. I saw that you even interned, I think, for a soccer team back in the day on the marketing side. But how'd you get into
Correct.
print, wide format, labels, and packaging? What was the first kind of entry
Well,
into it? And tell us about that.
Yeah, no problem. I typically start at the beginning because I think that kind of shapes people's journey.
100%.
Out of college, I did dip my toe. I also played rugby and basketball growing up.
We've talked
So,
about rugby before. Yeah.
Yeah. So in college, it was funny enough. My wife asked the question, "What do you want to do? If you know, forget everything else. Just tell me what you want to do." And I said, "I love rugby and I really like marketing. How can I marry the two?" So I talked to one of my professors at school, and he said, "Reach out to rugby clubs around the world, get a few mentors, start asking questions, and figure out." So I had emailed and was corresponding with about a half dozen professional rugby teams throughout the world, and two of them gave the advice of, you either need to move to a location that has professional rugby, which hadn't in the United States yet.
Right.
We have semi-pro here now, but not full professional, not at least at that level. Anyways, fast forward, he said, go work for one of the sports teams. So I started firing off emails to all the different sports teams in the area. I was going to school in Eastern Idaho at the time, BYU, Idaho, and then Real Salt Lake, the Major League Soccer team, was just getting started. And so I had reached out to them, and they said, "Yeah, come on down. We could use an internship." So I started doing that. I found out very quickly sports don't pay unless you're an athlete or you're an executive.
Unless you're pro, actually.
Yeah. So at that point, I pushed sports to the side. Technology was always my next passion. I've always been kind of a gadget guy. I very much appreciate technology. So I went to work doing contract work for HP. I started out on doing contract work with their PC team, which moved me from Salt Lake City to Atlanta, which I have since been here for 18 years, and this is now home.
Right on.
But as you can tell from the Jayhawk, I'm from Kansas City. So I am a big Jayhawks fan, and also because I went to BYU, Idaho, I also root for BYU as well. We'll get into that in a bit. So fast forward, contract work for HP, which then led to a couple different stints with IBM, HP Enterprise, where I worked on the software team, and then also for an energy management company, as well as with HP. So prior to my time now at Konica Minolta, I was with HP for 7 years, specifically in print. I did a year on the wide format team, working with the latex presses, or printers, and kind of dipped my toe in the print, and then was asked to come over to HP Indigo, which I then got into industrial print and did that for 6 years for marketing for HP.
Yeah,
I
which
was
is where
specifically this is where we met.
yeah,
Exactly.
which is where we met. Yeah, yeah. So I I just got to go back a little bit because I can't really get past this. How tall are you?
6'6".
Okay, you're 6'6". Where in the world on the rugby field did you play?
So here's the funny thing with rugby. They have different shapes and sizes for everyone. I
Yeah.
played what was known as second row. So you usually want a guy that's 6'3" or taller
Yeah.
to play in that. So professionally, there are guys who are 6'8", 6'9",
Monsters.
6'10". Oh yeah, like just look at the South African rugby team.
Yeah, yeah.
Evan Etzebeth is like the dream. The guy is 6'8" and like 280 pounds
Yeah,
of
yeah.
just pure muscle.
Absolute
He would
monster.
be a power forward in the NBA.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I played a little bit of rugby myself at West Point, and I figured you had to be second row. Like that's where,
Yeah, yeah.
that's where all those big dudes are back there, kind of holding
I
everything.
played a little number 8 because I was pretty quick with my first 10, 20 yards. I was pretty fast. But
There you go.
when
Get
I
it out, get
when
it
I
out,
played
get
in
it
high
going,
school-
right?
Exactly. My brother played number 8, so he played behind me.
Awesome.
So yeah, I always love. In fact, all 3 of my sons are named after rugby players. So
No way. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. So,
Yeah.
with your focus, having been on labels and packaging for a while, what are some of the biggest shifts that you've observed in how brands think about that space? And specifically in terms of what we're obviously always interested in at Tactful is like format, finish, materials, functionality. Like, what are some things that are happening in that space? It's still a buzzing space for the industry. It's
Yeah.
still a growth segment, I think. Talk a little bit about the shifts that you've seen there over the years.
from a marketing standpoint, I think it's also the audiences that you talk to. I think if you're coming from the commercial into label, I mean, it is labels and packaging is growing, and that's one
Sure.
of the. I don't want to say commercial is stagnating, but the growth isn't as much as labels. So you find more people.
I think, yeah, more it's like consolidating, right? Which is
Correct. That's probably a better
okay.
phrase.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So I think people see more of the growth in labels. So you see people coming over, but with the different label, I think there's different ink sets that are helping people. It's the fast turnaround times. It's the be able to do short runs. I mean, literally, there's one company that I did a great video with for HP called Just One Label, and that's one of the beautiful things is they will literally print you one label if that is in fact what you want. But then they can easily scale up to 1 million. So
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's the beauty of the digital side of it and people coming over and seeing that. But talking about the next steps is the embellishment. Now you can really then take a great label, you can take it a step farther, and then to your customers, okay, how do I win the business from someone else? Well, now you've got embellishments. You can make it pop.
Yeah.
And they say it's 70 to 78%. The second time you pick up that product off of the shelf,
yeah. Touch it by it.
they're more, yeah, exactly. They're going to buy it. So
For
if
sure.
you can add embellishments even higher, that improves things.
So I know you've worked a bit. You said latex at HP worked in the wide format print space. Additionally, embellishments and finishing effect, turn something ordinary into something memorable there too. You can maybe talk a little bit about where that's happening. I mean, what's funny is I talk a lot to my friends at EFI, and they're like, you guys are talking about all this, texture and feel or what. We've been doing that for years in the wide format space. Like it's nothing new,
100%.
right? How do you see it affecting that space?
Well, it's the same thing. The beautiful thing with HP latex, and even within Konica Minolta, our wide format, a lot of the wide format is what you print on is the substrate. Also, it takes on the textures from it.
Yeah.
So we would do some really neat things with wood, different PVCs, all the different textures that you can build on it. You can make something pop, even add visual layers to it. It's really fascinating, and I've this is from my days at HP. This is from our latex press, and funny enough, I had asked shout out to Missy McGrath and the team there at HP. I had asked for my son. So my middle son is a big Jayhawks fan, and I'd asked her, "Hey, can you print me just a Jayhawks logo?" And I was thinking one of the pre-cut sheets, like
Yeah.
this big.
Yeah.
It was going to be smaller, something you could put on his wall. And I walk in, and this sucker's like 3 feet tall.
You got like a wall cling size thing. That's crazy.
Exactly. Like what was it?
Wait.
Fathead?
I gotta stop you though. You said your middle son is a big kid. You have 3 sons. They should all be.
I have 3 sons. Oldest and youngest could not care less about sports.
Wow, man. All right.
Yeah.
I get
Just
it.
not for them.
I get it.
My
My
middle
youngest
son
is kind of like that as well. It's like,
Yeah. It's not for everyone. I get it. They have different interests and,
Exactly.
more power. But
Yeah.
my middle son, we bond over Jayhawks. But
Yeah.
to your point, though, it's where I've seen a lot of that change is what you're able to do and able. I would even show you my door. So as you mentioned, I'm English Premier League. I'm a big football fan, soccer fan.
Tottenham, right?
Tottenham Hotspur. So on my door, I literally took my door off, painted it white, took it in, and they printed the Tottenham logo on my office door.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, so I'm just be able to look at the substrates that they can print on, and
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Pretty neat.
So going back, and you touched on this just a little bit, going back to packaging. Packaging often has a lot of constraints, cost, supply chain, structure, but also big opportunities in terms of, and we talk about this brand shelf presence. We talk in a lot of our training about shelf velocity, right? It's like how fast things are coming off the shelf and where they are. Everything matters in retail.
Yeah.
Talk about how you think you can navigate the trade-offs between like having some awesome embellishment and practical production realities.
Well, it's interesting too because the cost of embellishment is coming down quite a bit.
100%.
I mean, it's just what you can do. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to take something, I don't want to say ordinary or plain, and make it pop. You can do really neat things with wide format, but then you take it a step farther and you add embellishment to it. I mean, it just literally takes it to the next level. And being able to see things pop off the shelf or off the wall, wherever it might be. I mean, that's the neat side of it is a lot of times it's just what you can think up. There are people who will make it come to life. And that's the beautiful thing. I'm an idea guy. I come up with ideas all the time. And then I'll throw them out there to our team. Hey, can we print this? Can we try that? Can we do this?
Yeah.
And most times they're like, yeah, we can do it. Rarely do I hear no.
Well, I've noticed about folks that are doing digital embellishment, and shout out to my buddy Eddie Dabbin at Big Dogs in Canada. Became real good friends with them. They experiment, like they just try. They almost like, I remember hearing a conversation between him and your colleague Sean Roberts about like how they went outside of spec with the Acurio shine. And it was kind of a nervous conversation because it's like not how they're supposed to run the machine, but he was kind of pushing it to the limit to see if he could do X, Y, and Z. So I think just the nature of embellishment gets those creative dudes. Hey, can we do this? Wonder if we could do that? And we encourage that all the time. But one of the things you mentioned a good thing, and I'll just mention it in terms of like what you're able to do in terms of that shelf presence. Back in the day, like we use this example of like toothpaste. I think it was Colgate who like was the third seller, right? And they took and did gold embellishment on all of their boxes and packaging, and they went from third to first rather quickly off the shelf. Yeah. Now that's back in the day when we're doing dyes and it's hot stamping, like it's all expensive, the setup and all. And they had the money to do that. But to your point, we're now able to do that on the digital side to where you can do short runs that way and have that same effect Colgate had back in the 80s, 90s when they took that market share away from 1 and 2. We can do that with shorter run stuff.
But everyone's doing it now. Aquafresh, I mean, you name all their competitors. It's silver, it's gold, it's different colors that pop.
Yeah.
It's usually takes one bold person to try it first, and then they'll see an absolute spike in sales.
Yeah.
And then from there, the competition's got to catch up. They got to catch up fast.
And we're in that. What we saw at Printing United Expo at least was like embellishment starting to kind of get more mainstream, right? Like it's it's becoming something that's not quite yet table stakes. We're still in what I call the value era, Not everybody has a piece of equipment, right? So the ROI is awesome because it's not on every street corner. It hasn't been commoditized like a lot of our CMYK prints have.
Exactly.
I want to talk a little bit about collaboration. I think collaboration is key. And when you're working with like designers, printers, print converters, communications team, how do you set the stage so that everyone speaks sort of the same print language and the final vision, whether it's packaging, wide format, whether it's labels, kind of lives up to that vision? What's been your experience there as an idea?
As an idea guy, I mean, funny enough, it's getting the parties to get together and talk. So anytime you're bringing on a new agency, for example, I'll often have the design agency and I'll explain, this is what I want to try to do. But I want you to speak with one of my workflow specialists, solutions architects, whoever it might be, to understand the machine. So you can understand the press, the printer, whatever you're working with. And then this is what I want to do. This is my vision. Once you get the designer to understand what the machine can do, it opens up their mind as well. So a lot of times I will give them what I call the keyhole. This is what I want, this is my vision, but then I leave it up to them because they have much more creative mind than even I have. But from there, once they understand what the machine can do and the capabilities, so if I print it here and I embellish this, and they start seeing things that I don't even see, and it just becomes a much wider view. That's how I've had success with design agencies that I've worked with on my campaigns, things of that sort. And it always blows my mind when they can come up with these ideas where I just give them like the glimpse of it. That's why I always say it's like a keyhole. I only give them this little bit of view and they just open it up. So a lot of times it's making sure that one, we understand the capabilities, and then once they understand those capabilities, they just push the limit. Like you said, they kind of go outside the specs. They push things a little farther. Yeah.
No, it's a great way to say it. Is that keyhole thing is to kind of get them curious and get them kind of, what can we do? How could we do it? Kind of getting those creative juices flowing. But a lot of times what I've seen is, and you're exactly right, is that communication. And a lot of times we build silos where pre-press is not necessarily talking to the press operator, and the press operator for sure not talking to the designer, or the marketing person, right? And getting all those people, those stakeholders in the room and kind of understand, because a lot of times a designer doesn't understand what a press can do, and that's so important to be able to have that in your brain when you're coming up with those designs. And we're getting there. It's slow but sure. I'm sure it didn't happen overnight with desktop publishing and digital printing, right? It couldn't have.
Oh no.
So it's going to take us a little bit, but I think you're absolutely right. Is get the key stakeholders together and communicate, and that's just universal. All right.
Well, I mean, real quick, I want to just also thank Taktiful. You guys did an amazing job at Printing United with your embellishment tour, and the number of people that were coming over. Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. 100%. The way you and Kevin and the team, because we were talking to people even came over from Leeds that we were talking to. It's designers, it's schools, it's people who are starting to see that glimpse of what you can do, and just take it a step farther. Like you said, once the audience starts to understand what's capable, it just unlocks doors for them, and it really pushes them in their brand.
Yeah, and that was the fun thing for me. It was fun to watch groups of people go through. And the thing about the tour, I think, that was interesting, and I'm so glad that we pulled it off, we had to do a little bit of, I wouldn't say arm twisting, but talking the wide format folks into participating. Because they're just like, oh, well, that's not really our thing. But we ended up having, Roland, Swiss Q Print were involved in the tour. And having folks like that, people got to see all the stuff. They got to see sheet fed stuff. They got to see, roll-to-roll stuff. They got to see wide format flatbed inkjet stuff. They got to see your Scodexes. They got to see your 5th and 6th color at Xerox. So it's like there's more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to adding embellishments and adding pop, right? And I think that was what was fun about the tour for me.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. I mean, even within the embellishment side, what we can do with our capabilities and our machines, but also to see what competition's doing. I mean, I applaud them. Everybody's pushing the limit, which causes us to have to push the limit even further. I love that competition.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think that's one. I was talking to someone about like, oh, isn't it great to not have that much competition? And I'm like, not really, because it
Yeah.
kind of keeps you sharp. It keeps you, not that you want to be
100%.
constantly in a state of stress, but I think competition is good. And I've, over the years, especially in my days of What They Think, really enjoyed co-opetition, where you're friends with your
Yep.
competitors, and you're kind of
100%.
pushing that level. And you're familiar with that, I think, probably across the OEM spectrum, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then also even with my time at HP with D-Scoop, being able to
Oh,
see
sure.
even PSPs come in and converters that are competitors, but they're helping each other out. Hey, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Have you done? I mean, it just
Yeah.
again, if you could push the limit, it just what's the rising tide raises all
Raises
ships, all
all
boats.
ships. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, and
it's
it's
the same
absolutely true.
concept.
Yeah, it's something that you like. It's one of those phrases that you're like, they said that again, but it's actually true.
It does.
So you gotta
It
you
does.
gotta go with the
Some
cliche.
cliches are true. Some
Yeah, some
cliches are.
cliches are just they're accurate. So and that's what I love about things like D-Scoop is those showcases, right? And I know
Yeah.
Canon Think does the same thing. They bring in partners in a showcased
Yep.
area. And you're right, like you said, it's often complementary to their technologies, but it sometimes can rub up against it a little bit, and that's
Yeah.
all good for everybody. All right, so let's
Exactly.
finally take it off the production floor here for a minute. Was I right? You played college basketball?
I had walked on,
Played basketball
yeah, I played basketball.
on
So
teams.
I played in high school. Enjoyed high school. Had ambitions of playing in college. I had followed a girlfriend at the time to a local community college. I had walked onto the basketball team and told the coach, "Hey, I want to play, but at the same time, I also want to serve a 2-year mission for our church." So he accepted me on the team, but once I announced that I wanted to do that, he then dropped me immediately. So,
Yeah,
so,
that's tough, right?
so
That's tough.
yeah,
Well,
it didn't matter.
I'm thinking in high
I
school. Were you 6'6" in high school, or?
Yes, I was about 6'5", 6'6". Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, when you're on the basketball team, like
yeah.
like you, because there's not many 6'5", 6'6" people in a high school demographic, right? They're just not a thing.
Well,
But the
funny
question that I
enough,
wanted to ask, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say our rival school had 6'10", 6'9", 6'8". Like they had big guys. Me and my brother's 6'4", and we had one other guy that was 6'7" on our team. But the three of us had to take on guys that were even taller than we are. But to the point though, so I have an older brother who's deaf in his left ear. So he went to school and they ended up holding him back because of his hearing. So we were in the same grade growing up. So he was like he had a linebacker body, like 6'4", like 210, was built solid, but hated football, loved basketball, gym rat. He would clear out the key
Get
for
him
me
down
so that
low
I
and box him out. Yeah, exactly.
100%. Like his big thing, he didn't care much about scoring, but it was all about defense and rebounding. He was like Rodman, but it allowed me to work and play, and so. But he would beat the snot out of me playing.
Oh, sure.
So when I played bigger, stronger guys, it was like, oh, this is nothing. I'm getting beat on every day. This is no big deal.
Leverage is an interesting thing.
Yeah,
I had to take a boxing class at West Point as an intramural, and it was full on freaking punching boxing. It was crazy.
yeah, yeah.
And the worst, I got whipped, and I was 6', 6'1", somewhere in there, 72, 73 inches. This little 5 something dude from New Jersey, he would just get inside me and beat me
Ring
to
your
death.
bell.
like, boom, boom. So it's all, you got to use kind of the leverage that you have for the sport you have. But the reason that I wanted to ask a little bit about sports is how do you think, how is being part of a team, like on a court or on a pitch, and being
Yeah.
invested in something like that shaped how you approach like marketing and your corporate life?
It's funny that you should mention that because I often bring up to my sons. I had them at least play soccer or basketball to a certain point in their life, so they learn that team aspect.
Gotcha.
I attribute a lot of my disciplines, my behavior, things of that sort that I learned playing sports, whether it was AAU basketball all the way up. I mean, I really enjoyed it. My passions changed as I got a little older. I would play for fun. Like I dominated intramural. That was so much fun in college.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, though, it's as long as everyone sees the big vision. So I always use a phrase in marketing that I like to use when it comes to how I market products. It's less megaphone, more mirror. Meaning, I'm not going to scream at you about text and specs and all of this stuff, but it's more mirror. What does the customer hear? What do they want to see? What resonates with them? At the same time, it's that same single point of view, that single vision. You have to get the sales team, you have to get marketing, you have to get product management, everybody moving in the same direction. If you have one person going rogue, just like in a team sport, that one person going rogue kind of can ruin it for the rest of us.
Yeah.
So if
absolutely.
everyone going in the same direction, it absolutely pays off.
No, 100%. And we talk about that in some of our boot camps series that we do. And we do them a lot for Konica Minolta customers, printers. And we talk about that at the outset. Like, we don't do a boot camp unless the owner or the person running the shop, president or owner or whoever it is in each boot camp session. And it's because of organizational alignment. Because you got to see the leader buying into whatever that is that you're doing for that to be a success. So I think you're absolutely right. Organizational alignment is one of the most important things, I think, that we have.
And I've seen that too.
Management.
And I have to applaud Konica Minolta. You know, I've been here 2.5 months, and watching them and watching us as a team grow, it has been phenomenal because you have the leadership buying in together.
Right.
They'll put the problem out. Team, this is what we have a problem with. The leadership comes together, we discuss it, and we all move forward to overcome it. And it's really fascinating. I've enjoyed working with a team that listens. You give feedback, they listen to that feedback, they provide feedback to me. I mean, it's just constant communication, and I'm seeing the fruits of that. And 100%, all that comes from sports. Listening to a coach, listening to the captain, being able to help people that are coming in, as if you're experienced, or on the other side, are you asking the right questions from people that have more experience than you? So it all comes from.
It's all about roles, isn't it? You know, we used to say, I think this came from my military experience. It's either lead, follow, or get out of the way. Like, do one of those three things. And obviously the optimal one is to have someone leading and to have others following in a productive manner. But if you're not willing to do either one of those, just step aside and let everybody else do that. So this is kind of maybe a challenging question. I'll give you a little bit to think about it, but I like to hear from folks about misconceptions. And so what I'm thinking about, are there any misconceptions from people outside of our industry, whether it's on just general commercial printing, labels, packaging, whiteboard, it doesn't really matter what segment, but something you wish they understood better? Maybe it's because we're not educating them, maybe it's because of infrastructure problems, but like, is there that one nagging thing that's just like, wish they got this, wish they could see this, would make things go better?
No, I think it's very simple. In my mind, I'm a simple guy, so I think I break things down in a simple way, and I think it comes back to education.
Okay.
And a lot of times, coming from labels and packaging or from industrial print, obviously our customers at Konica Minolta are the print service providers and the converters. But at the same time, what are we doing to also educate the brands so that the brands are aware of what you're capable of doing with these machines? It's the same way with when you're working with designers and such. I mean, a lot of times you talk about the misconceptions. You tell people I work for Konica Minolta. Oh, great. Is it the old cameras or is it the copiers? I said, no, it's the industrial print. Oh, I didn't know you were in industrial print. Yeah. Well, then even within industrial print, oh, you do commercial inkjet. Great. Oh, no, we also do embellishment. We also do digital label. Like, even within the industry, people don't know us. So I think.
So maybe your nagging misconception is ignorance. Maybe.
I would say ignorance.
I don't say ignorance with like a negative connotation, but just lack of knowing.
Correct, and it's awareness. It's
awareness. That's a way better word than ignorance.
Well, it's not. It's a combination of us doing a good job explaining what we do. At the same time, when I start looking into something, I'm very simple. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to go next month, congratulate my wife. She's going back to school and she's going to graduate. But at the same time, my father is getting older and has got some health concerns, and his bucket list has always been to ride snowmobiles in Yellowstone. So we're going to do that next month. But
Dang.
I haven't bought a snowsuit. I live in Georgia. I don't need snow gear.
Yeah, Atlanta.
So
No, you don't need
yeah,
it.
in a city nicknamed Hotlanta, I don't really have snow gear. So I went and bought some, but I went to all the big players. Uh, and I ended up going with a Columbia snow outfit that was on sale for Black Friday, which is great. And they happen to have it in gigantic big oaf size for someone like me. But at the same time, I didn't consider other brands because I only went with what I knew.
Right.
And funny enough, I purchased and my youngest son purchased from Columbia, and we paid a higher price for it. My wife and my middle son and oldest son have also looked at other brands, got something just as good for cheaper, and it's just because they took the time to do a little more research.
Interesting.
I jumped right into what I knew, one or two. So it's the same concept of, do you always only go with the big brands, the one or two, or are you educating yourself to find out someone else is doing it just as good or better and cheaper, and their capabilities might even be better. So again, it's awareness, it's education.
Well, and I think it also speaks to branding in the marketing context too, right? Because
Correct.
that branding that Columbia did over many years got
Yes.
you to that purchase point where you're like considering them, right? So when you got
Yeah.
to the consideration phase, all of that branding and the money that they have spent over the years on that branding towards you that obviously influenced you worked. And so
Well,
that's the importance of, and I preach this all the time, like marketing can't be a one-off thing. It's got to be, speaking of organizational alignment and commitment, it's got to be that
yeah.
commitment to telling that story over time so that that brand sticks. So that so for us in the printing world, right, when you think digital embellishment, you guys want them to think AC 3600 with iFoil, like Konica Minolta.
Yeah.
You want it like, oh yeah, they do that.
Yeah, the Web
They got
400,
that one
exactly.
machine, right? Because
Yeah.
of that branding that's happening. All right.
Well, it's also knowing your limitations quickly too. I
Oh yeah.
know that I just can't buy things online because of my size. I have
Right.
to. I need to find a physical location where I can go try it on to find
Yeah.
out. Okay, it's wide enough, but now it's not long enough, or
You
vice
got to
versa.
go to the big and tall place, aka the oaf store.
100%. Yeah, that's
I love
that's.
I love that so much.
There you go.
All right, so I
Yep.
always wanted to do this. We're gonna have some fun with these last two. If you could
Yeah.
design a piece of packaging or label or something for your favorite sports team, what would it look like? What finishing touches? What embellishments? Kind of walk me
Ooh.
through that. First, what's the team, and then talk through what it would look like. What you would include in there, embellishment-wise.
Oh, that's a good question. Again, I'm a less is more kind of guy. I don't think
Subtle
you
is
need to
good.
overdo things.
Yeah.
Like you could take my Jayhawks logo here.
Yeah, I'm
You
thinking
could,
I read foil first of all. Like,
I was just gonna say you could do the red foil up here would look phenomenal. You could even do gold elements if you wanted to bling it
yep,
up where all the gold is. There's just neat things that you can do, and sky's the limit to it.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, there's different things, but I would probably do some red foil where the red is in the tongue.
heck yeah.
So that's what I do. I'm also, as I mentioned, a big soccer fan, so I'd probably do something with. It's funny because I start thinking about some of the new soccer teams and even what you're able to do, with the jersey. There are teams that take it that step farther. It almost looks like it's embellishment. They will take their logo rather than have it flat and matte. They'll put some gold, what looks like gold foil into it, things of that sort, and makes it pop and stand out on the shelf. And a lot of people gravitate towards those. I
Yeah.
know friends who follow teams now because of their jersey, and some teams take that extra step of embellishment. And now, okay, I'm brand loyal to that team because of what they've done.
Oh, I think
Others,
that's a big segment of the audience, right?
yep,
Like either you,
yep,
like myself, you either, grew up from 4 years old with grandparents that lived in Pittsburgh and you're a Steelers fan,
yep,
or you grew up in Kentucky and you're a UK fan, or there's a segment of the audience that's just like, I like that logo. Like, I
yeah,
know there's a tons of Raider fans that aren't, right? Like, I know that that's a big part of it. It's because of the gear and the brand and all the things. So the more you
yeah.
can make that pop, I think you're absolutely right. And we're seeing it more and more. I tell you where we are seeing it, not to hijack this that much, but we talk a lot about college sports and NIL. The recruitment of that, everything is blinged out with digital embellishment because it's so competitive. I mean,
100%.
you're talking like, take a picture of the kid, put the jersey on them, make it gold, make it pop, silver, whatever the school colors are. It's phenomenal what we're seeing. And on-field, like, passes, VIP passes, like, we know businesses that's all they print are
Yeah,
credentials.
the ticket, everything.
Credentials. Tickets, credentials, the whole nine. The VIP experience. All right, last but not least, and this gets into something that's near and dear to my heart and kind of mentoring and helping people. Someone starting out their career in whether it's print, packaging, wide format, or just marketing because of your expertise. What advice, if any, would you give them? If you go back to like your younger self entering those spaces, what one thing would you tell them?
I would take the same advice that I got. Find a mentor. Find someone that I had a college professor who then said, hey, you need to find a mentor within the industry that you want to work in. Go talk to them, find out what they've done. So I was bold and just emailed probably 20 different professional teams and said, I want your job eventually.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm Bryan.
What advice would you give me in order to do that? And I had some that really stuck their neck out for me. And as a matter of fact, Sales Sharks in England, the director of marketing over there had offered for me to move to England for 6 months and to work with him and learn.
Wow.
However, I had already had a family at that point, and I had my second son. I couldn't exactly abandon my wife and kids to
No, not at all.
go live in England. It would have
you're
been
in the
neat.
support mode. But I think what you're saying, Bryan, is maybe, if I could translate that, is be bold.
100%. Take risks, but
Search
at the
for
same
those
time,
mentors and be bold.
yeah, and just ask the question, because a lot of times you won't get the answer unless you ask. Hey, how did you do this? I'd love to do that. Give me some advice. It's finding that good mentor, and I've been lucky enough. Frank Malozzi at Konica Minolta has been a mentor for me.
Oh, same.
I'm able to ask him any question. Hey, Frank, what do you think about this? He's got an extensive background.
Yeah.
And to be able to have that open communication, Frank, I'm thinking about doing this. What are your thoughts? What would you recommend here? And he pulls from that wealth of knowledge and helps shape me as well.
Well, I think it's interesting what you just said, because you're not young and new entering this space and this career. So what you're saying is, like, always have a mentor. And I consider Frank a mentor of mine too, back from the EFI days. And there's several people, probably at least half a dozen, that I know that I can call and Francis McMahon is probably one of my mentors that I know I can call on. He'd be there for me. So that's great. So find a mentor if you're new and be bold. Reach out, ask questions, because I'll be honest with you, Bryan, us old guys love when we're asked what we think.
Yep.
And what have you learned? Like it helps us to kind of reflect back on, like, I have had a good career. I have learned a lot. Let me help you. And I know that's where I'm at my age in my career, is like how do I give back? How do I help back?
But don't stop looking forward too. Like, I'm older, but I still look to Frank, who's got a wealth of knowledge.
Hey, I'm in a startup, brother.
Exactly.
Like, what am I doing? I'm too old for this stuff.
I've got friends that I've worked with at other teams and stuff that are younger than me that we still text and WhatsApp to ask questions. Hey, what would you do here? What advice would you give me there? And I try to give it openly and freely, and I want that same, that others have offered me. I'm happy to offer it to others.
Absolutely. It's all about community. And Bryan, what a great way to wrap this up, buddy. I'm so happy to have you on the show. I'm so happy to have you as a friend and a business colleague and part of a community. And I consider you one of those people that I could call and bounce stuff off of if it's a marketing issue. And enjoyed it, man. Thanks for being on Taktiful Tuesdays, brother.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
See ya.
Rock chalk.
I was going to give you an opportunity. I was actually going to say, I forgot to do it. I was thinking in my head, I'm going to say rock chalk and say, that's how you know that I really love you, because I said that out loud. But since you did that already, I'm going to say go Cats.
There you go. Go blue.
All right, man. See ya.
See you, bud.